Hello everyone. Now I said when I started this that as things happen prior to October 26th and the start of the commission hearings that I would be doing some occasional videos as things arose, and this week there's been some activity with the Mass Casualty Commission. There's been some open houses held by commission staff in Debert, Truro area, and Millbrook, just to bring the community on side. And there was a quote from one of the commission staff, Barbara MacLean, the investigator, that caught my attention and I thought would be worth talking about tonight. And it relates to what the commission can accomplish. And it's a crucial question, of course. It's foundational, really, to what's going on here with the Mass Casualty Commission. And it was in the CBC article, and Ms. MacLean said to somebody in the community, well, it's important that your participation and engagement extend beyond, or extend through the commission hearings, extend into the report and through November 2022 and the recommendations, because the recommendations themselves are not legally binding, and so the sustained community pressure was going to be important in order for those recommendations to be implemented. So it raises this question: what can the Mass Casualty Commission actually accomplish? Okay, so the commission and inquiries like it are like a court in many good and important ways. And so they can subpoena documents, they can subpoena witnesses, they can compel production of evidence just like you can in a civil trial. And I know in the Desmond inquiry, Judge Zimmer has had to do this on several occasions to compel documents and other production. So they can make orders in that respect. But in the final instance, they don't make orders like a civil judge could do, a Supreme Court justice could do. They make recommendations. So in a civil trial, if the justice made an order to say, well, this property goes to a certain individual, or this person needs to pay money, well, that would result in a court order. And if the court order wasn't respected and followed through upon, well, then there would be consequences for the failure to obey. Okay, that's different here. The order in council that established the Mass Casualty Commission says not that they make binding recommendations and binding suggestions to government, but rather, it directed the commissioners to, quote, set out lessons learned as well as recommendations that could help prevent and respond to similar incidents in the future. So, recommendations are thus dependent upon sustained public pressure after the fact, after the final report, after November of 2022. So think about other inquiries you may be familiar with, the Marshall Inquiry, Westray, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Sometimes it takes years after the fact to see changes manifest themselves. It depends on the persuasiveness of the reasoning and sustained public pressure. So when you think of an inquiry, you have to think of it both in legal terms and in political terms. So it starts with the public pressure to establish the inquiry in the first place, establish the parameters, the terms of reference for the inquiry. Then the second step is the inquiry itself. The legal mechanisms are in place to disclose evidence, to explore issues that are relevant, leading to a report, ultimately with the persuasive weight that comes with the respect that is engendered by the process of the inquiry itself. But that report doesn't have the legal weight of a court order. It still then depends on part 3, which comes back to the public pressure to actually implement those recommendations. So it's something to watch for throughout this inquiry, but it's good to know up front that just because the commissioners may recommend something, may notice something that could be improved upon, doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to lead to direct change. It's going to depend on public engagement, public pressure, political pressure after the fact to make that happen. So something for people to know as the inquiry starts, and came out of the public sessions this week, which I think are very important. A good step for the commission to keep the communities involved and keep them engaged and sustain that engagement hopefully throughout the process. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.